So, have you seen what Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib said over the weekend on a podcast?
No.
She was on a podcast of skullduggery, and the episode is titled "From Rashida with Love." And this is a quote of what she said. Quote, "There's always kind of a calm feeling I tell folks that I get when I think of the Holocaust." Now, luckily for her, there's a comma, but it doesn't get much. It doesn't get much better. There's a warm, kind of calming feeling I get when I think of the Holocaust and the tragedy of the Holocaust, and the fact that it was many of my ancestors, the Palestinians, who lost their land, and some lost their lives, their livelihood, their human dignity, their existence in many ways have been wiped out, and some people's passports. And all just because it was in the name of trying to create a safe haven for the Jews.
That's how she views the Holocaust?
It was her people, the Palestinians, that were just trying to give the Jews a safe land, a safe home, and they were the ones behind giving that land to Israel.
So it's the Palestinians who are the real victims of the Holocaust.
Correct. Correct. She said all of it was in the name of trying to create a safe haven for the Jews post the Holocaust, post the tragedy and the horrific persecution of Jews across the world at the time. And I love the fact that it was my ancestors that provided that. They did it in a way that took their human dignity and it was forced on them. This is incredible on how many levels.
She said, what was the sentence before that? Sacrificed?
I love the fact that it was my ancestors that provided that right in many ways. So they provided the land.
But then she later admits that it was forced on them.
Yeah, but they did that in a way that took their human dignity and it was forced on them.
That's a fascinating observation. I mean, she obviously is saying that it was bad, right? She's saying there was horrific persecution, and she does throw that in there. But you can tell, again, where the priorities are. It's the same thing with 9/11, with Ilhan Omar, who basically looked at it as an event in which it was sad that some, Muslims were later, prejudice, were victims of prejudice after 9/11. Not looking at that as an event that was terrible because 3,000 people lost their lives, but looking at it, well, other people got harassed later on, which again, there's little evidence of. I mean, there were some very isolated incidents of that. It does occur from time to time, but that's certainly not the general summary most Americans would take from 9/11.
Well, let's not rewrite history here. First of all, Israel was the Jewish homeland for thousands of years, and facts don't care about your feelings. The Jews began migrating back to their homeland before the Holocaust. In the late 1800s, there was a movement to go back. The Balfour Declaration in 1917 supported a two-state solution. The Arabs, the, quote, Palestinians, rejected that and got violent. The British sought a two-state solution again in 1937, the Peel Commission, and the Arabs rejected it. They didn't want the Jews in the area. During World War II, the Palestinian leader, the Grand Mufti of Jerusalem, met with both Hitler and Mussolini. The Palestinians, her people, allied with the Nazis. The Nazis set him up with a radio broadcast to incite violence against the Jews in the Middle East. He recruited Muslims into the SS. After World War II in 1948, when Israel became a nation, Arabs, Egypt, Syria, Jordan, Lebanon, Iraq invaded to destroy Israel and kick out all of the Jews, but they failed. They tried again during the Six-Day War in 1967. They failed. In fact, there is new evidence now that shows that the Grand Mufti, with Hitler, was shown Auschwitz, asked for the plans, and were given the plans because he wanted to build little mini Auschwitz all over the Middle East to finally end the Jewish problem. So what gives Tlaib this calming feeling? Rejecting the two-state solution multiple times? allying with Hitler and the Nazis during the Holocaust, invading Israel directly after the Holocaust, invading Israel again 2 decades later. What is the good, warm feeling that you get? I'd just like to know.